Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Vulnerability Time. We are officially here in season 5. It's great to be back. Okay, a couple things before we get started. One, please share this podcast. You never know whose life you're going to save by just sharing the podcast. Two, please leave a review of the podcast on Apple Podcast or wherever you're listening to your podcast from. Please leave a review. It really helps the algorithm. It really helps the podcast, get more noticed and all that good stuff. And third thing, so in the episode description below, we will have the video podcast link. So if you're wanting to watch the video interaction, please click in the episode description below and you will find the YouTube link. And with that being said, let us get started with whatever episode this is going to be, because I don't know what the episode is going to be right now, because this is a pre-recorded intro. Yes. Alrighty, with that being said, welcome to season 5 of Vulnerability Time.
On the recording. Okay, so what did you just say?
That I love your headset.
Oh,
because remember you were telling me about like video games and stuff.
Yes.
You're playing something.
Yes.
Is that what those are for, or?
I received this for my graduation gift. Yes, I do use these for video games. But now I mostly just use it for like podcasts or listening to music and prank calls, because I listen to a lot of prank calls. Yes. So that's what I use these for. But everyone on the reviews on Amazon, they use these for video games. I am a whole child, so I use mine for mostly prank calling.
That's fun though, because then you can hear everything clearly.
Exactly. Exactly. I need to hear their confusion when I prank call. Yes.
You need background stuff too.
Exactly. And what I like is these kind of like cancel out background noise on my end, because like my bird, sometimes she's really quiet, but sometimes she can get a little loud. So it's great that it cancels it, because I hate having to put her in the restroom and close the door so that she'll go to sleep for a little bit. That's nighttime to them. I hate doing that when it's sunny outside. But we worked
it out.
Had a bird. Got this on Amazon. Yes, I have a bird, and I also have a hamster. I brought her here. She's gonna do her episode. She's gonna do your episode with me. I'm gonna get a tarantula next month.
Oh, okay. That's exciting.
I know, right? I wanted a venomous snake, but too expensive.
I have a cousin who's into like reptiles, but he lives in San Antonio. I'm not sure how he has, but
I love how you said that.
I'll ask him. I think he has a snake because he feeds it like mice.
Yeah.
So.
Is it venomous?
I don't think so, because he's very like comfortable with like grabbing it and like cuddling.
Oh, okay.
So, I assume,
Yeah. Fun fact. By the way, folks, welcome back, Rosa. She was on last season. Rosa, how does it feel to be, your episode is very well received, very well liked, very much listened to. How does that feel coming on the podcast? Did you think that your episode would be, so viewed and so liked?
I didn't really expect anything. I think it's more a reflection of like what you're already putting out there, and a combination of like your audience and my audience, and like a combination of that. So I I don't know the stats compared to all the other podcasts that you see on your end of what you see on your end, but it's exciting to see that people are like listening to us and actually taking the time to see what we have to say. So
Yes, the people love you. The
yeah, well,
people
they
love
love
you.
you. So
Oh,
thank
thanks,
you.
thanks, thanks. This is your episode, though. It's your world. I'm just living in it. So I
Aw.
receive. Thank you. Um, what was I gonna say? Yes. So a fun fact, folks. Before we get into our topics, um, we're gonna be talking about capitalism and the process of acceptance. If we have enough time to get to the process of acceptance. Um, but fun fact, Queen, since you just mentioned, since we were just on the aspect of pets. Okay, so something that after spending time with my higher self and just my higher powers and doing some self-reflecting, I realized I've always been drawn to pets to where they don't necessarily receive love how you would think they would.
Hmm. Okay, so you mentioned
For
like a snake,
example,
right?
yeah, like a venomous snake.
Right, a
So
venom.
this is the thing. I'm realizing that maybe because that's been a common thing. Like I love cats more because my experience with cats, they weren't as receptive to my love like dogs were. Um, but I love cats. Like I'm a cat person. But they weren't. Yeah, It's, it's more so kind of like I had to work to receive their love. Um, it kind of made me think. I'm like, I think that's a trauma response. I think that's a trauma response from growing up because I'm just like, yeah, this is a consistent thing. Like, of course, I want a venomous snake, not a regular snake that I can spend time with. It's just like, though
Hmm.
I want to spend time, it's like I always would see a challenge and go for that, and it's just like, no, I don't have to. I don't have to. Now I personally want a venomous snake just because I think it's cool. But when I first wanted a venomous snake, it was, for example, like one of my other birds that I took back because I had a realization. I was like, this is a trauma response, having to work for work to receive love when I'm just like, no, I don't. No,
Well, isn't
that's
it
the
kind of
old
like that
me.
too with cats?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so
So,
that's why I'm not gonna get a cat, or I'm gonna go to the shelter and spend a couple hours with the cat to see if, it's something that if it's a love I have to work for. If not, then I'm getting the cat. But if all of them in the shelter are like that, then I'm not gonna get it. I'm just gonna get a dog. It's kind of like a subconscious thing in my mind that I grew up with having to work for love. Thanks to awful parents. They were awful. I don't care. They were really awful.
well,
Um,
do
they were.
you
Trust
you
me.
do you not you don't like want to get something that's more like in the positive or like the opposite spectrum of that, just so that you experience that love at least at first with your pet? Or I'm sure
Oh,
that
yeah,
comes also like through friends or other types of love,
yeah,
not just like romantic love or
right.
paternal love, but um
Exactly. And that's the thing.
like you're aware that that's a trauma response. So like,
Yeah.
do you, all right, you know what I mean? I don't
Yeah,
know.
1000%. Yeah, no, you're making perfect sense. And that's something I have healed um from that romantically. I've just healed from that when it comes to human beings. I'm like I'm not working for love. I know that. Um that that part's been healed. And then I thought about it. I was like, but is the principle healed? Because is there any other areas in my life that I see this show up as? And what helped me to do this, oh, I love what I'm about to do right now. And what helped me to be self-aware in multiple ways is my book, my journal and my book. Sorry. I just love throwing in a promotion. Folks, it's called Wounds into Wisdom. It's a a self-awareness interactive journal notebook with prompts. You know, it has very wise, thought-provoking prompts. You interact with the prompts, and it also has sometimes blank spaces in there, so maybe you can doodle or draw something that symbolizes what your thoughts, reactions were to the prompts. If you think you know yourself, folks, or if you want to learn more about yourself or about others, this journal notebook is for you. Yes. All right, Rosa, I had to throw that in there.
Of
Um,
course.
for the listeners and everyone listening. It's really good. I'm very proud of it. I'm really, really, really excited. It comes out 4/20, 2024. Yes.
It's
Yes.
coming up. It's like
It's
less than a month. So put in your
girl,
calendars.
it's almost April already. Shut up. I just realized that.
Yeah, it's like a week more, right? In a weekend.
Yeah.
So
Time is flying.
exciting though.
Um,
I'm proud of
thank
you
you.
for doing that.
I
Like
received
like
I received
like
that.
switching like your medium and like combining them at the same time, because people like are different in terms of how they express themselves and actually like process all of that, because we can talk about things, but it's
Yeah.
different when you actually put it on paper and you
Yeah.
make it like your routine. So
Yeah. Thank you, Queen. I received that. That's also something I'm working on. I'm working on verbally saying I receive something
hmm
because I'm always quick to kind of like not fully receive so that I like throw it back to the other person and I just like let's say someone compliments me. I'm like, thank you, but no, what
hmm
you're doing, I really like it. You know what I mean? I'm just like it can be both. Like I can fully receive and
hmm
also, give appreciation to the person instead of just giving appreciation to the other person and me not fully receiving because of me. You know what I mean?
right.
So that's something that I've been learning thanks to this. I'm just going to keep throwing this. Thanks to this book, folks. Link in the episode description below, available everywhere on Amazon. Yes. Okay. So great to have you back. Definitely am so glad that you can make it on this season. I really wanted you on this season, and the people wanted you back.
Awesome.
So,
Thank you for
um,
having me.
yes, you are a queen. You were a bonus episode on the All Star season, and turns out you became an All Star. Um,
Oh.
so okay, which topic are we feeling first, Queen? Are we feeling um capitalism and how that can affect the mental health and just our overall like being, or are we going to start with the process of acceptance? What are you feeling?
Let's do process of acceptance first, and then
Great.
lead into capitalism, because I feel like capitalism, I don't know, that's a whole ball also, and we can
Yeah,
lead into it a little later.
yeah, yeah. If we have the time, folks, we'll definitely get into it because, like you said, it is a whole other ball game. It really, it really is to realize that how much of our mental health capitalism can affect. So process of acceptance.
hmm
Rosa, what does that mean to you? How have you seen that show up in your life?
I feel like lately, especially with my family, there's some things that, you know, and in terms of accepting, when it comes to your own personal things, that can come in forms of, when you're not accepting things, a form of denial, um, like neglecting certain parts of things that are for you, like, and being like self-sabotaging, things like that, not realizing what you have at your disposal to really maximize um what you want, what you don't want. And for anyone that is just kind of like a middle ground person that loves to be content, and I feel like um it's one thing to be your own person, be accepting of that, and know your values, your the core things of what you do want,
Mm,
and um versus like the opposite of that.
mm,
Yeah, I think it's just like, sometimes when we want things, I feel like it's very easy for a lot of people to be like, yes, be delusional, dream big, etc. But you have to accept where you are, where you've been, and you also have to accept that as you move forward, that life is going to happen, and you don't have control over that. So as long as you're accepting of that, and you can be like staying current in the moment, then you can easily, not easily, but like you can more strongly put aside your anxiety, your
yes.
your overthinking and such like that, and you can just focus. Because currency is like, your focus is your currency. So that's one thing that I've been working on. So that's why I'm bringing that up. So.
Mm. Oh, you said three profound things. Oh, but
Hmm.
the most recent thing that you just said lit me on fire in a great way. Basically, um, a part of the process of acceptance, and this is also something that I recently learned. So hearing you say it is just confirmation from my higher powers, the universe, my higher self, all the good stuff. Is part of the process of acceptance. Um, in order for us to be as successful in that process as we can. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Doesn't say that you can't be successful in it. It's just to be successful as possible is to relinquish and work on relinquishing control.
Hmm. Yeah, like
Wow.
you can't control everything, and I think that's where a lot of people get caught up, and it's easy to get toxic in that manner with,
Mm, yeah.
overwork, overworking yourself,
We.
setting expectations and goals in unrealistic ways, and not pacing yourself. I obviously know yourself better, and sometimes I'd like to kind of touch on haters. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of people say, like, oh, haters, they hate you for what you're doing, but you might be doing something right. But if you've ever heard something negative about yourself, and it just kind of like hurts a little bit, like,
Yeah.
can you ask yourself, like, why does that hurt? And it's because there's part of that might have some truth in it, that, whether like somebody else can see your talent, and you know they're criticizing it, and they all have like the right to. But I think when you're on that acceptance journey, whether it is to get better, or like I said, to stay content, you have to take both sides, because that's how you're going to get the whole sum of that
Mm-hmm.
acceptance. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because, like, you can be accepting in your own mind and stuff, but we're not always just going to live in our mind. There's going to be this outside chatter from everywhere, from your family, from your friends, from your coworkers, you know what I mean, from the president, and my grandma. But yeah, if that makes sense.
Yes. 1000%. Things that I heard and what you were saying over the span of this conversation about acceptance is, you know, along that process, expectations, you got to have an expectation check because expectations can lead to a form of control and can slow down or hinder your acceptance process
Mhm.
or just make it harder than it needs to be.
Yeah.
And also
It
awareness.
right. I think with those things, whenever we are not accepting, it's like I think I touched on this with one of my friends. It's like you also have to when it's getting overwhelming, you have to really just tell yourself it's like not that deep. You know what I mean? And you got to let your logical side of you come in and you know be your own mommy, be your own daddy up here and then like soothe yourself because whether it is to like hype yourself up or like be like, hey, like for example, if I'm talking to myself like, hey girl, you got this, not a big deal,
Yes.
move on. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's been 5 minutes. Let's move, let's get the ball rolling on something else.
Right, right, right. Exactly. Let yourself be in that moment for a second. Just don't stay there too long. Let that emotion come in. Let it do its thing, and then also meet logic because it kind of reminds me of you ever heard. I'm sure everyone's heard this ignorant statement from a generation who wasn't as knowledgeable on psychology or mental health. Um, but or they weren't as accepting as just the realities that just happen. But anyways, they use this term to gaslight themselves. Is the glass half empty or half full? Um, you kind of hit on this principle of what I'm about to say is no, the glass is not half empty or half full. It is both. It is both half empty and half full. And so
Hmm.
it's also kind of like, yeah, like you gotta acknowledge the pain in order to see the purpose. Kind of like, oh, like this is the full glass. This is the areas of growth, is the half empty, and then here's the areas that I'm doing pretty good at, which is the half full. So it's important to notice that. Um, and you hit on that principle, which made me think to say the principle in like a more metaphorical way. So I'm
Hmm.
just taking your words and I'm just making it more metaphorical. Um,
Yeah. I think another component to that too is if you're an overthinker and you keep telling yourself what if or
yeah,
other factors that I can't really I don't have a scenario for me to piggyback off of, but um
we get it. We get what you're saying. It's understandable.
it, it's like I forgot what I was trying to say. Next time I'll write it down, but um if it comes back to me, I'll let you know. But yeah, I think I think acceptance is always going to be like an ongoing like process. It's never ending. It's just like anything else, like health and stuff. So as long as you're aware and oh, I guess what I was trying to say, like, if you overthink and there's a lot of factors and
Mm,
that there's like doubt coming in for you not to be accepting of a certain situation
yeah,
and it's causing you turmoil, whether it's sadness or isolation. um like you might not know the extent of the factors that contribute to a situation, but you have the choice to either keep adding like like the what ifs and all these scenarios, hypothetical things, and they may be true to you but they're probably not. You know what I mean? That's how you like kind of spiral out, and I think it's better to just um take a cold shower. I'm
yeah,
not going to say like slap yourself out of it, but if you really need to like kind of I don't know, do EFT tapping or something. I have never done
right,
it, but my form of slapping myself would be like doing 20, 30 squat jumps, and it that just really takes me out of my head and puts me back into my
right.
body.
Yeah,
So
get back centered again. Yeah, yeah,
because I think it's also very easy to be on the opposite of that and be like, oh well, it doesn't matter, or
hmm,
you know what I mean, like I can be accepting of something but like it's not going to do me any good,
yeah,
or it's not going to give me my results, or it's like, but you don't
Mhm.
know that. And that's just like where patience comes in. So,
Exactly. And you know what? My hamster agrees.
mm,
She agrees with you. Okay, also,
mhm.
you are very wise. That was very good. That
Yeah.
was really
Well,
good.
I
It got me
also
thinking.
I listen to a lot of stuff on my own too, because I feel like I do get impatient, and that's one of my weaknesses.
Oh,
So
for
I'm always
sure.
like trying to, you know, it's hard to like talk about goals, or how you expect your current reality to like suit your expectations. And it's like, well, it's not everyone else's job to
Hmm.
like do that for you, and you
Right.
have to like cope with that. And it's just part of
Right.
growing up too.
Yeah.
So the whole adulting thing, it's like you don't, and also motherhood, like you don't know what all is headed your way until you're actually like in the midst
Mm.
of it. So
Yeah. Mm.
mhm,
You know what? Boom. I have a
mhm,
question, and this is kind of off topic. First off, you said that perfectly, absolutely perfectly. Um, you and I both suffer from mental illness, right?
mhm,
Um, and you also mentioned that capitalism is a whole other ball game. Very true. I want you on next season so that we can have a whole episode dedicated to capitalism because I
mhm.
can definitely tie it into because it definitely ties into how it does affect mental health um and stuff like that. And there's just I don't know, I'm
Yeah,
just curious
it'll
to hear
it'll
your
help me like
thoughts on
brush up on the topic as well.
it.
Because I
Mhm.
feel like with capitalism, it's something that the only things I can tell you about is more like what my experiences with it, and not so much
Mhm.
like an unbiased thing of it, or
Mhm.
like commentary about it. But um
Yeah.
I think,
Oh, you're so wise for saying that.
yeah,
For saying an unbiased because I'm coming in biased.
yeah, no, like when you
Yeah.
when you think about like capitalism, like the first thing that pops into my brain is like the economy, money, income,
Right. When it's like a lot
job,
deeper than that.
career,
Mhm.
things you want, things you don't want, debt, loans. Like these are just like words that come into my brain. And lately, more investing and saving. And I think
Mhm.
I haven't had like a positive relationship with those words and
Mhm.
how they correlate
Right.
to my life, but because I've always had my dad take care of those
Yeah.
things, or mom. And without knowing about all these things, they have taken on that responsibility. And now I'm taking over in that aspect for my son. And I just think like there's just so much to learn. And,
Mhm.
a lot of people, well, I've heard some people say that money's not everything, but money is contributed to everything. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I
Yeah.
feel like when you can tell yourself you have the power to change things, I'm not going to lie, if you have a lot of money to change certain
Mhm.
things, you can. I mean, I'm not going to say
Right. That's
also that just with money that you can bring back a dead person,
right.
from the other side. But,
Right.
I just feel like retail therapy, when you, when you're a little stressed or something, it
Oh
is
yeah.
nice. Or when you've
I love me
been,
some
uh,
therapy retail.
like whenever I was in school, like back at Lamar, and I'd have like a test, I had a little ritual where it was like, it wasn't working out that would like soothe me. It was like a really nice meal that I could sit at by myself at a restaurant and be like catered to
Yes.
and really treat myself to food that I wasn't able to get in the college cafeteria. You know what I mean? And it just made me
Yeah, yeah.
like more at
I
home.
know. The
You know
D
what I
Hall,
mean?
yeah.
And I just that's what I love about like money and part of capitalism too, that
Hmm.
even though we can, sit here and talk about a lot of nays and cons about it, there's also so many pros about it. Like,
That is so
you
true.
know,
Humble
it brings
me, Rosalina. Humble
yeah,
me. You are
like
humbling me.
it brings you closer to your friends. It makes you experience other things.
Yeah.
Um,
It
like
can bring smiles. Yeah.
yeah,
You're
so
right. Wow. Thank you for saying that because trust me, as soon as I think of capitalism, I instantly think about the cons.
mhm,
But you are right. Thank you for humbling me and in a way holding me accountable to see both sides because I could definitely see the cons. Okay, yeah, but to see that the pros as well, and like I said, is the glass half empty or half full? It is both. So thanks for sharing that. Thanks for saying that. It made me take a step back, reevaluate, um, which is also people can do in my book, Wounds into Wisdom, Self-Aware. I'm shut up. I'm just being childish. But but no, they can reevaluate and but yeah,
mhm,
reevaluate my biased way of thinking when it comes to it. I mean, because it's like it's not fair to just acknowledge only one part of the truth
mhm,
when there's another side, especially the pros as well, because like I don't know, it to be reminded of the pros, um, it definitely takes a lot of frustration off of me
mhm,
because I can get so caught up in the cons when I'm really, really, really passionate. I can get so caught up in the cons that slowly I
mhm,
forget and I sometimes I don't even remember all the pros until you just said it. So,
mhm,
yeah, folks, if you've ever had that happen to you before, where you just got so, yes, I'm about to throw in an advertisement because I'm childish. Where you've got so, just so stuck in a mindset that you forgot the other
mhm,
side of the coin. Because both sides are true. It's just when we get stuck on one side of the coin, what can help you get out of this is the Wounds into Wisdom Self Awareness Interactive Journal Notebook with prompts. Y'all go support. Link in the episode description below. Yes, available all over Amazon. Um, I was being childish, but at the same time, I was just like, okay, wait, yeah, that actually can happen in that book. Um, Queen, thank
mhm,
you for holding me accountable. Seriously, you really did. Thank you. Seriously, I needed to be humbled and I needed to be reminded of the pros about capitalism as well. And it makes me um for whenever we do that episode next season, whenever next season is, I don't even know. Um, I would definitely come in with a more neutral outlook, which I think is one of the best places for growth for many things is starting that neutral outlook. Not saying that like either side is like bad. It's just like neutral outlook, it can possess seeing things with the seeing both parties or seeing the joy experiencing the joy and the frustration at the same time. I don't know. I think all are valid, but when it comes to this, I definitely think it's healthier and better for me to come in with a neutral outlook on it because I can
mhm.
do the cons easily.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
If you ever need
Oh my
more pros, let me
god.
know.
Shall
Yeah,
do. Shall
because
do. I'm able to do this podcast because of it.
yes,
Yeah.
mhm. And
Thanks,
everyone
Queen.
listening too, you know.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. We love that. Queen, before we wrap up, do you have any final thoughts, last things to say?
Mm.
I'm childish. Sorry.
I don't know. I feel like um I think next time if I can pinpoint maybe like a situation that I can like better articulate, because I know I told you last time that I was kind of concerned about keeping certain things like private. And I think if I find one thing where I can actually really like expand on and be even more vulnerable with that and get your point of view and
Yeah.
I don't know, kind of like put that out into the world and um see if anyone has like, you know, their input.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And
because I feel like one thing whenever it comes to these conversations, it's easy to like be very general, but I think it's more challenging when we can actually like, be specific. So
yeah. Right, right, exactly. Yes. Um, if you do think of something, even if it's not on the topics list, let me know and we'll do it. We'll talk about it.
okay.
The topics list is only to get people brainstorming, to kind of like see, oh, this is like kind of the ballpark and stuff like that. And some of the topics can go extremely deep. Some of them are, I don't know, either topic can go wherever. But yeah, yeah, and yeah. So if you think of something, let me know. And this is vulnerability
I
time. So
actually like one thing we can also piggyback off of next time or now it doesn't matter. Or you can always text me about it. But I think it was one, how you mentioned about mental illnesses. And I've been kind of doing my research on what the model version is of what mental health should be.
mm,
And I'm not sure if like if I were, if anybody were to be 100% mentally healthy, like what does that mean for
mm,
capitalism, for example? Like what if we were all so secure in ourselves that we didn't need like anything else and we just wanted to like be content, you know?
mm,
So
yeah,
and be grateful or whatever, but um I don't know.
valid. That is, yeah, yeah. That's a good point. That's definitely a good point. Yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, think about it and let me know. Like what you were saying recently about wanting to delve more deeper into something.
Mhm.
Um, literally let me know. You know that you are always welcome on this podcast. You are a queen. You're my dear friend. And yeah, you're totally always welcome. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
So yeah, we love you. We love you. We love you.
Love you too.
Okay. Okay, I'm about to go ahead to the store actually before they close
That's
because
good.
I don't have any food in the fridge. So
It's all good.
uh
I'm still decluttering and all that cleaning.
oh, we love that. Well, thank you so much for coming, and we will see you
You
next season. We love
sound
you and we appreciate you. Hello, everyone. Before we end the video, I would love to announce, and I am proud to announce that my second book is available now on Amazon. It is called Wounds into Wisdom: Self Awareness Interactive Journal Notebook with Prompts. If you love learning about yourself, if you want to, go into more self awareness, if you want to talk to your inner child, if you want to just talk to yourself and, you know, uh, find out new things, this journal notebook with prompts is for you. It is interactive. It has spaces where you can, doodle or draw anything that symbolizes, the prompt. Um, you are able to interact and conversate with these prompts in the journal notebook. And it also has space at the end for you to just journal if you would like to just journal. But yes, these prompts in the book are very wise and thought provoking. Um, it will make you think, I have never thought about that before. I did not recognize that in my life until now. These will blow your mind. These will drop your jaw in a good way. In a good way. But yes, the link to purchase the book, it's on Amazon. The link will be in the episode description below. Also, thank y'all so much for making it to the end of this episode. I challenge you to send this podcast to at least one person. You never know whose life you are going to save by sending this podcast, because they might send it to someone else who really needed to hear it, and that person's life will be saved. Because remember, the point of this podcast, in general, vulnerability time, is what if someone's on their way home to end their lives, but because they listened to a special guest, or to me, because they listened, they decide to live, even if it's just a little bit longer. This is a life-saving podcast, folks. And yeah, thank y'all so much. And I will see y'all next time for whatever episode that will be, because this is a pre-recorded outro. Alrighty, love y'all tons. Stay amazing. I'm proud of you for still breathing on this earth.